It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show live on WBON TV and on radio at WEKY, WKXO, and WIRV. Support your favorite team with apparel from Campus Warehouse and join us here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Also brought to you by Bishop Small Engine Repair and Nuevo Vallarta. And now let's go live to your hosts, Michael Watkins and Samantha Burford.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. A happy holidays season to you and your family. Hope you were able to enjoy a stress-free Christmas weekend. It's always, when you got kids and you're traveling, especially with the 4 or 5 inches of snow that we had here in Madison County and some of the surrounding counties, can make it for a very stressful time. But hopefully you and your family were able to get together and enjoy the Christmas the holiday. And with the coronavirus pandemic, still a little bit complicated to try to get that stuff done. But here we are today celebrating the end of 2020, if you will. And we want to look back at the top 10 biggest storylines from the 2020 year. We know it's been hard on a lot of the local athletes, the players, the parents, the coaches, not only to get games in, but to even know if you're going to have games and practices and everything. Has just been so hard on everybody here this year. We wanted to look back as we end 2020, we close out this year at some of the biggest local storylines of the 2020 year. We're going to start with A.W. Hamilton, the EKU men's basketball coach, winning the Coach of the Year, and the Colonels having one of their best years ever for EKU basketball. A.W. Hamilton, in only his second season in Richmond, was voted the 2020 Ohio Valley Conference Coach of the Year. He was the first EKU coach to do that since 1987. Coach had a great year with the Colonels in his second year, following a 6-12 OVC record in 2018-19. The Colonels went 12-6 in the 2019-2020 season, reaching the OVC tournament for the first time since 2015, and they were the number 4 seed, getting knocked out in the semifinals. And you look at what Coach Hamilton has done with this basketball program, rejuvenating the team, rejuvenating the program, and getting the fans excited for EKU basketball once again. It's been a very exciting turnaround, and it's an exciting brand of basketball. And this year, going into 2020, 2021, it's even more accomplishing for Coach Hamilton and the Colonels, off to another hot start this year. But the 1920 team, EKU's 12 conference wins, are tied for second most in program history. The 2019-2020 Colonels are one of only 4 EKU teams ever to win 12 or more OVC games, joining the 64-65 team, the 06-07 team, and the 2012-2013 Colonels basketball squad. So A.W. Hamilton rejuvenating EKU men's basketball team and being named the 1920 coach of the year in the conference. So that is our number 10 biggest storyline of 2020. Looking at number 9, the number 9 biggest storyline, the Madison Central Tates Creek basketball game. And how much fun was this game? Being up there on the call for the Madison Central Tates Creek basketball game, one of the most dramatic finishes I've ever been a part of because of how it occurred. The Indians falling behind by, I think, a 17-2 margin early on in the ball game, and Tates Creek came out firing on all cylinders. Amari Taylor, the Tates Creek senior, came in, and he was on fire to start. He had 15 of the first 17 points for Tates Creek as they jumped up on the Indians early. And you might have thought, with this young Madison Central basketball team, could they find a way to recover? Well, Alan Feldhouse Jr. got his team calmed down, and things started to turn around. And before the end of the first quarter, it was a much better ball game. I think the Indians went into the second quarter down by 3, 4, 5, somewhere through there, but it was still a ball game. Indians still were right there with it. Then we head to the fourth quarter. What a ball game it was. Again, Madison Central in the fourth quarter made some big defensive plays. Went on a little bit of a scoring drought late in the fourth quarter, falling down by 7. before finding a way to come back and eventually take a lead. But that set up the final possession of the ball game.
It'll be Harden, Brown, Harge, Ray, and Brown in the game for the Indians. Coach Feldhouse, future Hall of Famer, has drawn up a play, and the Indians will try to win it here with 7.7 on the clock. Brown is the inbounder, Tom.
I got a good idea that this might be going to 40.
They'll come into Skaggs up top. Trey lost the handle. Ball is loose. Taylor's got it for the Commodores. Inside to Detroit, and Detroit will lay it in, and that is going to be your ball game.
Indians got a huge lift in that game by Will Harden, who finished with 18 points to lead the team. Cole Brown had 13, Braden Ray 14 for Madison Central. But that final play still sticks in the back of the minds of this Madison Central basketball team. And now as we head into a new year, they can use that as some fuel to the fire and some motivation, because Madison Central brings back everybody from last year's squad, and all 5 guys that were on the floor in that final possession that led to the end of their season will be returning this year. So it's an exciting time to be a Madison Central basketball fan, as the Indians, a top 25 team in the state once again, according to the Lexington Herald leader. And looks like Madison Central might have a chance to find themselves playing in Rupp Arena once again, barring some kind of crazy pandemic taking place again this year. So our number 9 moment, our headline of the 2020 year, Madison Central, Tates Creek, the basketball game that ended in a dramatic win for Tates Creek on a game-winning buzzer beater by the Commodores. The number 8 story of 2020, EKU football dropping out of the OVC to play a fall schedule because the OVC playing their football in the spring. They still have not even started yet. OVC football going to be taking place in about a month or so down the line, and going to be very interesting to see how that all takes place, as the Colonels dropping out of the OVC, the only team to do so. There were some teams in the OVC that played a couple of games, but for everybody else deciding to stay in conference and play this spring schedule. And you look at what Walt Wells and Matt Rohn and Dr. McFadden and all these guys have done to drop out of the OVC and play their own fall schedule. Yeah, the record wasn't great. But to me, doing what EKU football did this year, the 2020 season, it gives them a leg up and I think a chance to be the favorites heading into next year's OVC season. There's still a lot to be determined with, the signing periods from high school guys, the transfer portal and the NCAA being a lot different this year. And all the guys that playing on this year's team can come back if they elect to. So obviously it's going to be very interesting to see who decides to come back, who decides to go ahead and take that leap, maybe transfer and find a way to go back home, maybe play on a team that's closer to home, or some transfers that could be coming in that didn't work out at the higher level. You come back down to where EKU is at, and maybe you can find a home here and make a name for yourself, like we have seen so many guys do in years past, looking at guys like Noah Spence and Deshaun Mobley and guys like that have come in and had big years with EKU that had played, with Noah Spence at Ohio State. Mobley played at Kentucky. So guys transferring to Eastern and finishing out their careers and making a name for themselves. So very interesting a decision by EKU, but I think looking back on what the year was, and Walt Wells agreed with me every time I spoke to him, Matt Rome, the same thing, it was a no-brainer. And if you look back on the season that they had, a very successful year that ended with a win in the inaugural Opportunity Bowl for the Colonels. So EKU football now going to be the freshest team of the OVC heading into next year. And who knows? Rumors are circulating that the Colonels might be finding their way into a new conference. Not sure when that will begin. And as of right now, the rumored conference is not even a football conference. So there could be some changes to be made there before the Colonels can even enter that. But going to be very interesting to see what happens with the EKU football program over the next year as they head into a potential spot as the top dog in the OVC once again. But I think, hiring Walt Wells, dropping out of the OVC to play their own fall schedule, and doing things like the inaugural Opportunity Bowl that the university put together this year just shows you that EKU is ahead of the curve once again when it comes to to college football and university athletics here with the Colonel's Sports. We appreciate you being with us here, folks. You're on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. We come at you every single Monday from 6 to 7, courtesy of Jack Burford Chevrolet, and we're heading into a new year. Those new Chevys going to be arriving every single day over at Jack Burford Chevrolet. You can check those out at jackburford.com or drive over there and visit the lot on the bypass in Richmond. We're also served up and put together by Campus Warehouse over there in the Richmond Center. Campus Warehouse, it's holiday shopping season is done, but eventually more fans are going to be allowed to pack inside of Rupp Arena for Kentucky and McBrayer Arena for EKU. So when that time comes, there's no better place to go than the Campus Warehouse over in the Richmond Center. They've got some awesome EKU and UK apparel for everybody, from the kids all the way up to the adults. They got hats and T-shirts and jackets and everything you need to keep yourself warm by the time you leave your car to get into the arena as well. So go over there and check out Campus Warehouse in the Richmond Center. It's now time for our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll look at numbers 7, 6, and 5. The numbers 7, 6, and 5 moments and headlines of the 2020 year locally here with our sports teams. We're coming back on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jennifer, and in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Kokudet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see you.
Still lots of room, just more to view. Still the big move, just more moving. Still singing, just more in tune. Still hard to find a spot, just easier to park. Still the gang's all here, just less are we there yet. The Chevy family of SUVs, making life's journey just better.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Campus Warehouse is fresh out of quarantine and has everything you need to get back in the game. Now more than ever, it's important to show support for your favorite team. And Campus Warehouse has stylish Eastern Kentucky merchandise or something for the Kentucky fan in your life. As we continue to fight the coronavirus pandemic, Campus Warehouse also has the clothes you need to show you're a part of Team Kentucky. Like them on Facebook or stop in and see for yourself at Campus Warehouse, 2139 Lantern Ridge Drive, next to Buffalo Wild Wings in Richmond.
Welcome back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Michael Watkins here with you as we are closing out the 2020 coronavirus year and looking into 2021. Again, counting down the top 10 moments and storylines of the 2020 year. And we're looking back early on before this pandemic hit us at some of the biggest moments as well. And we're going to go back to late February, early March. The Madison Central girls basketball team last year entered as the 4th best team in the district, according to a lot of the ranking systems and everything else that go on in the state of Kentucky. Brad Lovely entering his first year as the head coach, and a lot of unknowns with his team. Really, only the 2 seniors, Jakari McKeithen and Talia Todd, the 2 known names that were going to be on this Central roster. Brad Lovely had a great job as they headed into the postseason, really kind of struggling. I had lost 5 straight games heading into the district tournament. Those losses coming to Garrett County, Rockcastle County, Nicholas County, Bryan Station, and Paul Lawrence Dunbar. So Central's girls basketball team not really peaking at the right time. Losers of 5 straight heading into the postseason. But that's when things would turn around. Brad Lovely had his girls basketball team ready for Samantha Cornelison and Allie Turley, the first-year head coach at Madison Southern, as well, as the Lady Eagles were having a successful year, coming into the district as probably the favorites. But Brad Lovely, an awesome coaching job, and what a game it was as the Lady Indians defeat Madison Southern in the first round of the district tournament, 40-36. Talia Todd leading the way with 16 points and really playing good defense on Samantha Cornelison. 13 points for Jakari McKeithen of Madison Central. Bree Beerbaum had knocked down a couple of threes, and the Lady Indians defeated Madison Southern in the first round of the district tournament, 40-36. Now they awaited the winner of Berea and Model, 2 teams that had very successful regular seasons, the 2 smallest schools in the district, 2 of the smaller schools in the state of Kentucky, and Berea, coming off a trip to the All-A state tournament, the All-A Classic region champions had been playing on EKU's floor already that season in the state tournament. So now, could it be Berea or could it be Madison Central? Brad Lovely once again had his girls prepared, and in a 43-32 win that really they pulled away late in the second half to pull in that margin down. It was once again Talia Todd with 21 points, knocking down 15 of 19 from the free throw line and leading the way for Madison Central to once again be crowned district champions. And again, after the year that they had, not a ton of wins for Brad Lovely in his first year as the head coach, 5 straight losses heading into the postseason. But who cares about your win-loss record whenever you win that district championship, whenever the district tournament starts, you throw the win-loss record out the window, and it's all about who comes to play in March. And Madison Central did just that. Our number 7 storyline from 2020, Brad Lovely, in his first year as the head coach at Madison Central, helping bring a district title back to the Lady Indians basketball program. Now, number 6, looking at, again, some of these smaller schools and the success that they had. How about the year for the Model Lady Patriots soccer team? An exciting time to be a Model Lady Patriots fan, and you got to look back at what they were able to do. Again, a successful season and a shortened season because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and in a time at that time where it looked like those numbers were once again kind of plateauing out, if you will. But you got to give credit. McKenna Tuttle, and she's a really good basketball player, but she's a pretty good soccer player too. And Tuttle able to really help her team bring home that district championship. Tuttle scored 1 goal, played goalkeeper as well, and it is the first district championship win for the Lady Patriots of Model since 2009. So it had been quite some time, 11 years waiting for the Lady Patriots. It was a 1-1 tie through regulation and 2 overtimes and a shootout win for Model, with both Tuttle and Peyton Sparks each scoring a goal. And they were able to once again win the district championship. Congratulations to them. And that is our number 6 biggest storyline from 2020, is the Model Lady Patriots soccer team once again being crowned district champions, if you will. And it's an exciting time as you see these smaller schools having success against these bigger schools. I was a part of one of those. It just kind of means more. It's kind of that true underdog story, no matter what the sport is. And congratulations once again to the Lady Patriots of Model as the were crowned district champions. That is our number 6 story of 2020. Now, number 5, another small school with success, this time on the hardwood, as the Lady Pirates of Berea had entered the 11th Region All-A tournament with a little bit of an unknown factor. They're going into the year, Maddie Stepp, their leading scorer from the previous year, tore her ACL. She was going to be out the entire season. But you got to give credit to these girls as well for stepping up as they were heading into the 11th Region All-A Classic tournament. Lady Pirates knocked off a very good Lexington Christian team in that 11th Region All-A Classic championship game. Final score 35-31, a very emotional win as Lady Pirates had to come back in that game. Madison Howe led the way with 11 points. They got 8 from Mackenzie Howe, But maybe most impressive was Maddie King coming in with 7 points of her own, knocking down some big three-pointers in that contest as the Lady Pirates were able to find themselves advancing to the 11th Region State Tournament for the second straight year. And talking to Coach Damian Stepp over the last couple of years, one thing that he does not lack is confidence. And when you have a team that is kind of an underdog, confidence can go a long way because they have confidence that they can go out there and knock off anybody. And to do it without your leading scorer from the previous year kind of goes to show where this program is heading and where they are right now. Now, going into this season, a lot of question marks with Maddie Stepp coming back and Madison Howe and Maddie King and Mackenzie Howe and Isis Rogers and Alyssa Lovins and all these players that are returning. Bria could have another successful year, and who knows, could we be looking at a third straight trip to the All-A state tournament? We'll find out in February this time because that tournament being pushed back because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But a very successful year, and congratulations once again. Our number 5 story of 2020, the Berea girls basketball team crowned the All-A region champions. We're now going to take another commercial break, folks, here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. When we come back, we'll count down numbers 4, 3, and 2 on the list. And then we'll get to number 1 later on in the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show as well. Coming back, we're live on the stations of volume for broadcasting at WBON TV.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Cupcadet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see you.
Still lots of room, just more to view. Still the big move, just more moving. Still singing, just more in tune. Still hard to find a spot, just easier to park. Still the gang's all here, just less are we there yet. The Chevy family of SUVs, making life's journey just better.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills. When you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Campus Warehouse is fresh out of quarantine and has everything you need to get back in the game. Now more than ever, it's important to show support for your favorite team. And Campus Warehouse has stylish Eastern Kentucky merchandise or something for the Kentucky fan in your life. As we continue to fight the coronavirus pandemic, Campus Warehouse also has the clothes you need to show you're a part of Team Kentucky. Like them on Facebook or stop in and see for yourself at Campus Warehouse, 2139 Lantern Ridge Drive, next to Buffalo Wild Wings in Richmond.
Back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, Michael Watkins wishing you and yours a happy new year as we are celebrating the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021. And hopefully it'll be a much better year for all of us, not only sports-wise, but get the kids back in school, the families back together, and celebrating the holidays and the birthdays. And, you know, you got to credit what everybody's been able to do this year, adapting to kind of the new normal that's been tossed around. But sports-wise, it's been very hard for a lot of us because you don't see the number of fans in the stands that you normally do. You don't see the teams playing the teams they normally play. It's just it's hard to be a sports fan, but you have to be thankful for what we were able to have and what we do have. And I think as we head into 2021, we're going to appreciate those things more heading into the new year. We're counting down the top 10 moments and storylines of what has been a bad 2020 because of this pandemic. And so far, 10 through 6. Number 10 was the EKU men's basketball resurgence and A.W. Hamilton being crowned Coach of the Year in 2020. Madison Central Tates Creek basketball game, what a moment that was, as the Indians losing on a last-second buzzer beater in the first round of the 11th Region Boys Basketball Tournament. Number 8, the EKU football team dropping out of conference play and playing their own individual out-of-conference season for 2020. Number 7, the Madison Central girls basketball team, back before this pandemic ever started, they were able to be crowned district champions once again after they defeated Berea in the district championship game. Number 6, the model girls soccer team being crowned district champions for the first time since 2009. And number 5, the Berea girls basketball team becoming All-A Classic 11th Region champions for the second consecutive year. Number 4 was a hard one for me. I had become very good friends with Mark Centers, a guy that I had seen take this Madison Central football program to places it had never been, as far as being crowned a regional champion a couple of years ago. But wins and losses do matter, and Madison Central hadn't seen a whole lot of wins the last couple of years. Only 2 wins in the last 2 seasons, both of those coming against a bottom-of-the-barrel team in Class 6A in Lafayette. After 7 years, Mark Centers was told he would not be renewed as the head coach at Madison Central. And this storyline leading to another big storyline as the Indians were able to quickly find a very suitable replacement in Mike Holcomb. Holcomb led Breathitt County to 3 state championships and another appearance in the state championship game. And Holcomb brings with him a lot of experience, a lot of firepower on offense. It has been his calling card for so many years. Mike Holcomb was the head coach at Breathitt County for a long time, left to go be the head coach at Letcher County Central, and more recently serving as an assistant at the Breathitt County program, as they have kind of had a resurgence of that program in recent years. Holcomb kind of taking more of a mentor, backseat, offensive coordinator role, if you will, with the Breathitt County program. But he has been able to be hired at a place where he was at one time a intern or a volunteer coach way back in the day while he was a student at EKU.
Through this process, I talked to a lot of people. I talked to college coaches, high school coaches, retired coaches, anybody that would listen to me that I thought could give me good advice. I really wanted to have the right person for this job that can take this program to hopefully heights we've never been. So I'm very excited today. As I got to talk to Coach, I was so excited after talking to him. His energy, his competitive spirit, his knowledge of the game really set it apart for me. And I took his phone before we come up here because it rings a lot. And most of the time when the phone rang, it was his former players. And that meant a lot to me when I was looking for a coach, because those people still reach out to him. He's known as Coach, and they reach out to him and still seek advice and guidance from him, and that really meant a lot to me. Excited about what's going to take place with our football program and with our student athletes, and I'm very excited to announce the new football coach, Mr. Mike Holcomb.
I've had a lifetime sort of a little affiliation to this program since I started doing some volunteer coaching here when I was in college, and I had a lot of friends left in Richmond, had family in Richmond, and just always had a little bit of touch about Madison Central in my blood. So when this opportunity came, the job became open. You know, I was fortunate enough to I had my interest and they had their interest, so it's really worked out good for me, and I'm excited to be the new coach here.
Holcomb was asked about almost being the head coach at Madison Central once before, and about potentially seeing some of his former players who have gone on to be head coaches on the schedule.
Well, Debbie's had to take the blame for a lot of things in my life, and things just wasn't, it just didn't work out at that time. That's about all I can say, you know. And, you know, we moved, that's been a while ago, so it's a different time, and everything's a little different now. Well, you know, we're looking at our schedule right now. Mr. Cooksey has worked on it some, and Mr. Frisk, you know, people have contacted him. So I'm not sure about that. Justin Haddix is at Boyle and Kyle Moore's at there at Breathitt, and I tell you, we're just pretty close. It's really not a good thing to play. We share a lot of ideas amongst each other. At one time, we all did play, and it was like we was always watching what we were saying to each other. And so now we can throw ideas around a lot, and we'll probably just leave that at that.
Holcomb led the Bobcats to 42 straight wins from 1995 to 1997. The Mark sits tied for fourth in KHSA history for most consecutive wins. He also won 3 state titles at Breathitt County in 1995, 96, and 2002.
His resume, it is second to none. There's not a better resume out there. But what was so exciting was he's still hungry. He still wants to have a positive influence on kids in our school and hopefully take them to places they didn't know was possible.
For WBON TV, Channel 9, I'm Michael Watkins. So our number 4 biggest storyline, Mike Holcomb taking over the program after Mark Centers was let go at Madison Central. And that is our number 4 storyline of 2020. Number 3, also a football story. Madison Southern had a great year once again. To no surprise of many, John Clark has really been able to take that program and it's no surprise when they make a deep run in the postseason. During this pandemic, I have talked to John Clark more than I have really any coach. Got to know him really well and really got to talk to him more than I ever had. Coach Clark really, when this pandemic started, we were talking about the potential seeing football go to the spring and all the other stuff that goes on with it. And for him to do what he did with this Madison Southern football team, let's look back at it. Starting the season with a tough loss to Pulaski County 21-15 at home. That was the first game of the year. Cole Carpenter getting his first start as the quarterback. And a lot of unknowns with this team coming into the year because of the quarantine that they had just came out of. They had not even tackled to the ground heading into that first game against Pulaski County. Then in the second game of the year, just 6 days later, they go on the road to Collins, a district game, and only the second game of the year. And Collins, really heading into the year, was maybe one of the district favorites. A lot of votes being going between them and Madison Southern. But Collins able to defeat the Eagles at home 21-13 in a game where Cole Carpenter, who was the starter in week 1, was not even able to play because of concussion protocol, and Walter Smith had to start at quarterback. Not saying that Walt can't do that, but Walter Smith, so dynamic of a player that they really have a set of plays for him at the quarterback position that had not even been put in yet. So those first 2 games, really some tough losses for Madison Southern. The game against Pulaski County, their defense played amazing. It was really the defense of Pulaski County scoring 2 touchdowns that got them the win. And then the game against Collins just kind of ran out of gas late in that game, losing 21-13. Then the Eagles rally off 3 straight. They pick up a win against East Jessamine at home, 34-14. They knock off Woodford County 29-27 and West Jessamine 35-6 and end up going 3-1 in district play. And that's when everything's really started to turn around for the Eagles. Their next game was against Boyle County. Boyle County, eventual state champion. But beat a lot of folks that year. They went undefeated the entire season. Madison Southern, one of their victims throughout the year. Then potentially the biggest game of the season, knocking off Madison Central 44-14 at home. And what a win that was for John Clark and his Eagles. Coming off a loss to Boyle County, a lot of question marks there, but to be able to get your confidence back, turn around and knock off your in-county rival 44-14 was a big win for Madison Southern as they would propel themselves into the postseason and then knock off that team that knocked them off in week 2, Collins. This time it was a big win for Southern, 35-14 in a game that wasn't even that close. John Clark and his team once again would find themselves in the district championship game. This game is where it really got interesting. So many dramatic moments in one single game. And the last 4 minutes where you see Woodford County take a late lead and Madison Southern able to march it down the field. They were down by 7. They would march it down the field, go for 2, and not score the 2-point conversion. So you're down by 1, around a minute and something to play. You got to kick the onside kick. They do that. They recover the onside kick. Then they march it down the field again. end up having to settle for a Jace Durison field goal, I think it was a 43-yarder it ended up being. And Durison, as cool as the other side of the pillow, would knock it through the uprights, and Madison Southern would be crowned district champions once again, and they would find themselves faced with a Covington Catholic waiting in the next round. This is where things got interesting. So after the game against Woodford County, John Clark would get a phone call from his wife. He couldn't find his wife after the game. She had actually had to rush to the hospital to be with her mother. Later on that night, they would find out that Erica's mother had tested positive for COVID-19. And a lot of things going on there. John Clark would go get tested, and they would eventually find out that the COVID-19 virus would have impacted his household as well. All that leading to his team having to be quarantined and having to forfeit the Covington Catholic game. And that's where the season would end for the Madison Southern football program.
My wife's mother, my mother-in-law, has been battling stage 4 cancer throughout this season. And, you know, we've been very, very careful about who we're around, wearing masks. You know, our biggest fear was getting them sick. And that's something that we've, as a family, been really adamant about not doing for the last 2 months, because she was in a position that she's so susceptible to something like that right now anyway. So we were absolutely floored to hear that information. And then, you know, within a matter of minutes, her and her brother getting kicked out of the hospital.
So you had tests over the weekend and got the news that your household had tested positive as well.
Absolutely. So we obviously get tested and find out that it's in our house as well. And that's when, you know, I call the school and talk to Mr. Ray and our principal and let him know, like, hey, this is where we are. And that's when the decision's made that, you know, obviously there's protocol that has to be followed from the health department and the CDC guidelines in the health department. And with positive tests on your sideline on a Friday night that come about, the whole team ends up being quarantined, which we've known. So we really knew in October, one positive test from this point on with anybody in this team or coaching staff is going to shut our team down. Administration, we all had that conversation. There was no way that wasn't going to happen. And it's happened to multiple teams already across the state. And it happened to be from us here this weekend.
Another side of this is what happened yesterday. You have to fill out some kind of form and send it in to the KHSAA. And before you could even talk to your team, the KHSAA already puts it out on Twitter via that form.
Yeah, I got to tell you, dealing with all this on the weekend, I mean, listen, there's people that are dealing with way worse things. I mean, I'm not, like, we're blessed. We're lucky that my house is healthy. You know, we've got some mild symptoms going on here. But the way it all transpired from the time that I talked to my administration, I'm telling you, like, we get our results back around 2:30. I'm on the phone with my principal, and I have a meeting with my team set up at 4:00. And we make the decision that, you know, through our administration, that the school's going to wait to release information. The district's going to wait to release it until I have a chance to meet with my players and my players' parents. And rightfully so, okay? So the KHSAA requires you to fill out a form to state that you're withdrawing from the playoffs because of a positive test, and your team has to be quarantined. It's a Google form that our athletic director fills out. The minute he submits it unknowingly, it automatically puts the information on the KHSAA Twitter page, which is an unbelievable move by them to do that. And before that, my athletic director had called the KHSAA on several times. Nobody answers. Nobody calls back. So here we are doing what we think to be right, is to notify the KHSAA, assuming somebody's going to call you, verify who's sending in this information, ask some questions to this hour, we still have had no response from the KHSAA, but it went through on their website the minute we sent the form in with no verification of who's even sending the form in. I'm still talking to my principal. I'm still talking to a coach of mine, trying to tell my coaches individually what's going on. And it's all over the news and everything before I even have a chance to make 2 phone calls to my own staff.
So when you finally got a chance to talk to your team, kind of just give us an update on how that went.
Well, we had a Zoom at 4:00. We were on there for about 40 minutes. It was hard. It was one of the hardest conversations I've ever had with my team. Listen, our kids are amazing. They understood. Our kids were, one of our kids says a prayer for our team and for my family. I couldn't be more proud of the way our kids handled it. Everybody's known this was a possibility for this entire time. And I think everybody feels fortunate that we've played as many games as we did. A lot of teams weren't that lucky.
I think the lasting image of this season and this team for you guys is just how Friday night ended. I know it's not going to end the way that you wanted it to, but when you look back on this season, I feel like a lot of positives came from it, even though it was such a crazy year for everybody. Madison Southern made the most of it, and you're going to walk off the field district champions, and that'll be, I think, the lasting image of the 2020 team.
No, I think you're right, and I'm extremely proud of our kids and our staff. We got better and better every week. When we played our first game against Pulaski County, we hadn't even tackled to the ground yet. And looking at how far we came from that to where we were going into this week, I felt like we were an entirely different football team. And our kids never quit this year. They never bowed out. They did all the things that were asked of them. I hate to see it end the way it is, but at the same time, we were fortunate to get the chance to do what we did. We told that to our kids in the meeting last night. Like, not many teams walk off the field on their own terms as winners. And in a sense, they kind of did that. Now, no, we're not going out because we chose to. This is something that we can't control, though. And looking at that game, you couldn't really have left a game on a better note than what they did last Friday night. And I think that's something definitely that really shows the character of our football team.
Looking at our number 2 story of 2020, how about Madison Central's Elizabeth Eberle? At one time, she was leading the state golf tournament for pretty much the entire first 2 rounds, or for the entire 2 days of the tournament, before falling and being the runner-up in the state golf tournament. Eberle was a little disappointed. We talked to her back in October after all this, after the weekend. Had her on the sports show with us on that Monday following the golf state tournament. And what a round it was for her. Eberle, on Friday, she birdied 2 of the first 3 holes, and she birdied number 10 on Saturday to move to -2. And just looking at some of these numbers that she had, a great state tournament, and only a sophomore. So this girl has got a lot of potential. Listen, you finish runner-up in your sophomore year. That means expectations going into your junior and senior season are going to be very, very high. She finished with a +1, 145, and as a runner-up in the state golf tournament this year. Elizabeth Eberle. And Samantha and I, we're going to try to get out on the grounds with her. Going to get out there and try to play some golf with her this summer, but obviously that didn't get to happen because of COVID. But as we look back, Elizabeth Eberle being the runner-up in the state golf tournament, our number 2 storyline of 2020. So congratulations to her, and what a year she had as a golfer at Madison Central. Let's take our final commercial break, folks. When we come back, our number 1 storyline of this year. A lot of things going into 2020. We look back at some of these biggest storylines with the EKU men's basketball at number 10. Central Tates Creek basketball game, the first round of the 11th region tournament, number 9. Number 8, EKU football dropping out of the OVC and playing their own schedule in 2020. Number 7, the Madison Central girls basketball team becoming district champions after being ranked number 4 in the district in the preseason polls. Number 6, the Model Girls Soccer Team district title. Number 5, the Berea Girls Basketball Team All-A State Tournament trip, the second straight 11th Region All-A Classic championship for the Berea Lady Pirates and Damian Stepp. Number 4, Mark Sinners being let go at Madison Central, and Mike Holcomb being hired as the head coach of the Indians football program. Number 3, another district title for the Madison Southern football team, but they're having to drop out of the postseason because of COVID-19. And number 2, Elizabeth Eberle, the state runner-up in golf this year. Those are our 10 through 2. When we come back, let's find out what number 1 was on our top 10 list this year. For 2020, folks, we're heading into 2021, a new year for us all. We're coming right back on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Jennifer. And in the spring of 1992, Bishop Small Engine Repair was born in our mom and dad's barn in Estill County.
Then in the fall of 1992, we made the move to Madison County, where we are today. With the support of our family, customers, and community, we have continued to grow in the outdoor power industry. With a full line of products from Kokudet, Grasshopper, Echo, and Shindawa, we can help you tackle your yard so you can enjoy it with your family. Bishop Small Engine Repair, where our focus is our customer. Stop on in, 119 North Estill Avenue in Richmond. We can't wait to see you.
Still lots of room, just more to view. Still the big move, just more moving. Still singing, just more in tune. Still hard to find a spot, just easier to park. Still the gang's all here, just less are we there yet. The Chevy family of SUVs, making life's journey just better.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Who makes the best meal in Richmond? Nuevo Vallarta. Friendly service, a place that's good for kids and good for groups. Head to Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta is known for warm hospitality, great prices, great food, and the best margaritas and fajitas in town. Doesn't a huge 32-ounce ice-cold beer sound great? Start with an appetizer, order a la carte, or choose from their huge menu of Mexican favorites for grown-ups and kids. Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond.
Campus Warehouse is fresh out of quarantine and has everything you need to get back in the game. Now more than ever, it's important to show support for your favorite team. And Campus Warehouse has stylish Eastern Kentucky merchandise or something for the Kentucky fan in your life. As we continue to fight the coronavirus pandemic, Campus Warehouse also has the clothes you need to show you're a part of Team Kentucky. Like them on Facebook or stop in and see for yourself at Campus Warehouse, 2139 Lantern Ridge Drive, next to Buffalo Wild Wings in Richmond.
We're back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Michael Watkins here with you, rounding out our top 10 moments and storylines for 2020. First of all, I want to say thank you to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet. It's a great time. Those new Chevys coming in daily over at Jack Burford Chevrolet. You can check out jackburford.com to see the latest inventory at Jack Burford Chevrolet. Also, Campus Warehouse in the Richmond Center here in Richmond. Got an EKU fan or a UK fan that you're looking to get something for heading into the new year, or maybe you want to start going to some of those games and they open up the floodgates and fans can come back in. You can go over to Campus Warehouse. Awesome Kentucky and EKU apparel over there. They've also got some pretty cool local apparel as well, and you can check them out over in the Richmond Center or online. They got a Facebook page, Campus Warehouse, with everything you need for the sports fan here in your life. We're also brought to you by Bishop Small Engine Repair. To get your mower ready for spring at Bishop Small Engine Repair, and Nuevo Vallarta on Big Hill Avenue in Richmond. Nuevo Vallarta, the best Mexican food in town. And by the law office of Patrick O'Neill. If you know somebody that needs some legal advice, check out the law office of Patrick O'Neill. He is located in Breathitt County, but he serves all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. Give him a call for a free consultation at 606-666-2990. Our number one story this year is not just really one team. It's not just really one coach or one player, but as we look back at what 2020 gave us, and you look at the state boys and state girls basketball tournaments being canceled, eventually the seasons for EKU baseball, Madison Central, Southern, Berea Model. The baseball season's all being canceled, and some of those teams were expected to do some big things this year. You look at the hype surrounding the Madison Central baseball team, the Madison Southern baseball team, the Madison Southern softball team with Jewett and the team coming back over there. A lot of hype surrounding teams like that, and their seasons being completely wiped out. To me, the number one story of 2020 is the resiliency of the coaches, the players, the principals, the athletic directors, the parents, the fans, everybody that is involved in our local sports scene. I mean, even us, the paper covering these local teams, us doing the games, we all had to change. We all had to adapt. The resiliency of the people here in Madison County, and more importantly, the kids and the coaches that are really in there inside the programs. You've got to credit what everybody was able to do. You look at some of the stuff that we had to deal with seasons being canceled, with games being canceled. In Madison Central, the football team, the loss of a teammate, the loss of a classmate, the loss of a player, and more importantly, a friend, and Manny Pruitt, who passed away in a tragic drowning accident this year. He was going to be a senior at Madison Central. The resiliency of his family to still go into this year, and a kid that would have been a very important piece and a very good player at Madison Central, not even being out there on the field, not even being out there with his family. And that's a sad story in itself, but the resiliency of everybody to not overcome that, but to adapt to that situation as well. You look at what we've had to do with basketball, with the season being pushed back, and you start practicing, you start conditioning. Well, you got to take a 2-week hiatus or a 3-week hiatus. Now you're coming back, and we're getting ready to start basketball season next week. So to me, our biggest storyline is how all these coaches and all these players were able to wonder in the back of your mind, you know what, we're not even in school. We're not even going to class. Can we play sports? Okay, we got to have the fans in the stands. Can we even have those? And then having to wear your mask everywhere you go. Sutton and Bingham and Cooksey and Simmons, the ADs, the principals at each one of these schools. I'm thankful for the folks that we have in place that we do. I appreciate everything that they've been able to do for us this year and everything that they've allowed us to do. We've all become pretty good at doing these Zoom calls now. We've been doing the sports show on them for quite some time. We've been doing these interviews virtually with Alan Feldhouse and Austin Newton and Brad Lovely and Ray Valentine, the new coach at Berea. The football coaches, I talk to them pretty much every week. Tony DeGregorio in his first year as a head coach at Berea, having to deal with the pandemic. Mark Centers, who was let go at Madison Central. John Clark, talking to all these guys every single week and just getting up to date with how they were handling the virus. And then you look at what it did to Madison Southern, forcing them to drop out of the postseason after a dramatic win in the district championship game, not being able to go out on their own terms. So these kids having so much just ripped out from under them, their seasons being put on hold, their seasons being shut down, the resiliency of every single player, coach, fan, parent. I mean, the parents wondering, can I even get into the game? To me, that's the biggest storyline of 2020. How we all adapted, how you all adapted, how you all were able to take what was in front of you and make lemonade out of a small lemon, if you will. I mean, to me, it's encouraging to see that we can all, when faced with something, overcome it. We've lost loved ones this year. We've lost a lot of things that we were expecting to have. And even though the coronavirus pandemic is still here, there looks to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And as we go into 2021, all of us here at WBON TV and Wallingford Broadcasting want to say thank you for allowing us to be a part of your family's lives, whether it be on a Monday night with the sports show or a random night during the week of a basketball or a baseball season, or a Friday night with a football game. Whether you're watching us or listening to us, we love covering the local athletes here in Madison County. We love being a part of your homes whenever you're tuning us in. There's a lot of exciting things coming down the pipeline, not only for us, but with our athletes as well. And we appreciate everything that you have allowed us to do with your kids, with your teams. And as we head into 2021, we look forward to seeing what else is in the future for our local students, athletes, coaches, and athletic programs as well. That'll wrap it up for us, folks, not only for tonight, but for 2020. Next week, basketball season is here. We're going to preview our players of the year, our preseason teams of the year, and we'll look ahead to some of those first week games coming up next week. And Samantha will be back as well. Samantha Burford will be back with us. Have a happy new year, folks. We'll see you next Monday. From all of us here at WBON TV and Wallingford Broadcasting, you have been watching the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.